Welcome to the Cage Classroom. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time your child came home running from school, excited, not because she gave an answer, but because she asked a beautiful question? That's true. Questions are the new answers. Just like podcast is the new reading and pink is the new blue. Hold on to the thought for a moment, will you? Because there is a difference, a big one. The Chilean French artist Alexandre Jodorowsky said something amazing. He said birds born in a cage think flying is an illness. I'm not talking about the cages made of steel or rust iron. I'm talking about the cages that we make for our children with the best of intentions, lot of love, and even decorated like the Christmas tree. Some of these cages are called classroom. Sir Ken Robinson, the late educator, the great speaker, said on this very TED stage, "Whenever I pass by a jail or a school, I feel sorry for those inside." Ouch. It is sarcastic, it is uncomfortable, and that's precisely why it stays with us. Today, I'll tell you 3 stories from my classrooms, from the time I came face to face with cages and eventually the open sky. Story number 1, The Crow from Kolkata. 1980s, growing up in this beautiful, the sweetest part of India, life had a rhythm, like every school-going child's routine. It's winter morning, 6 a.m., and I'm rushing to catch the school bus. And I would wonder, why is the school bus always yellow? But with like everything with school, it was always so predictable. And the school bus would be rushing between the trams, the rickshaws, and the majestic Howrah Bridge overlooking the Hooghly River, a silent spectator to all of these. And then, as soon as I enter the classroom, it will all be so silent. And I wondered, why does education, learning, curiosity feel so much alive outside the classroom and falls to deaf ears inside? But millions of children were doing it, so I put my head down and I did it too. I distinctly remember it was 6th grade science class. I was in the biology lab. And in the biology laboratory, we were asked to dissect the frog. I don't know who was more traumatized that day, me or the amphibian. But I definitely know I dissected my dream of becoming a doctor ever again. No, never. On the hindsight, I should have kissed the frog instead. As they say, kiss enough frogs and you might find your princess. I eventually did. Shazia, she's somewhere here, the love of my life, but it took me longer than I think I should have done at the biology lab. But sitting there in the bio lab, I was like millions of students who thought they're smart like the crow in the Aesop fable, but all we were doing is putting pebbles when a sustainable straw was better option. Story number 2, The Parrot from Port Blair. My father, now a retired merchant navy captain, moved us from the bustling life of Kolkata to the beautiful island city of Port Blair. It's called Sri Vijayapuram now, in the pristine waters of Andaman and Nicobar. And for the first time, I saw what open skies look like. Nature was my classroom, adventure was my teacher, and I was learning through wow, wonder, observation, curiosity, wisdom. And the best part, nobody was telling me what to be when I grow up. You see, my school had this wall which was etched with the words of Swami Vivekananda. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. And I felt education was alive. I felt the beauty of learning in an environment that actually induced learning. But like every good thing in life and the school recess period, it came to an end. Life was back to routine, timetable, exams, and uniforms. But for the first time in my life, I felt what learning could be. I felt wind beneath my wings. I felt I was flying. I achieved a lot of things in school. A lot of us did, right? One afternoon, I won 3 trophies. 3 in a single event in a single afternoon. Incredible, isn't it? That's what school life for a young schoolboy looks like. But there is a small information I should be giving you. I was the only participant there. And it is strange, right? That was the day I realized a system, that hands you trophies for attendance and calls it excellence. Sir Elton John, I love his composition in The Lion King called The Circle of Life. I wish Sir Elton also wrote the song Circle of a School Life, where the only thing heavier than a child's school bag is the parent's expectation from the child. That brings me to story number 3, the cuckoo from Chennai. I did well in school, I had my name on the honors roll call, and it was almost like a predestination. It was almost like everybody knew what I'll do, which you all can guess, engineering. Because what else you do when your scores are good? You see, this year is 25th year of my college reunion. I'm meeting my friends, we are talking to them, we're excited about it. And something amazing I realize, of all the batchmates I know, the happiest of the ones are the ones whose careers have nothing to do with engineering, or the ones who are not married yet. I mean, my wife is here, so that's another story. But I think we all took engineering more of convention rather than conviction. We just did because everyone else was doing it. We did because Kapoor uncle wanted us to do it. We did because the society expects us to do it. Mark Twain says this so beautifully. He says, I did not let my schooling interfere with my education. Schooling does interfere. In our childhood, our traumas, our self-esteem, our confidence, our fears, all of it that the schooling teaches us stays with us. Stays long enough when the report cards and the marks are forgotten. Well, that's the whole story, my 3 stories. But hold on, there is a 4th story. It's called Finding the Sparrow. Years later, I moved to Navi Mumbai. Ironically, it's called the Flamingo City, but it's more infested with pigeons, rats with wings. But I was looking for a different kind of a bird. Not the flamingos or not the mynas, but an unremarkable brown small bird, the house sparrow. You see, the cities I was growing in, Kolkata, Port Blair, Chennai, they were filled, the neighborhood was chirping with this little sparrow. And now, when I teach my daughters, the sparrows are gone. They have disappeared, just like creativity from our schools. And I was determined to find them. Neil Postman said something beautiful. He says, children enter school as question mark, full of curiosity, but leave school as period, full stop. They say a girl asks 300 questions a day. I've got 3. I'm swimming in a sea of estrogen, 900 questions a day. You look at me. And then we say, don't ask. I'm busy. Newspaper, Football World Cup, IPL, the worst of all. But then, what are we taking back? So for the first time, I decided, can I challenge the belief? Can I look for the sparrow? And then I discovered the open sky. I heard the song of the golden sparrow. I understood what open schooling can be and what a beautiful format it was. And then I said, hold on, schooling can be fun, learning can be exciting. I want them to be the crow who understands the pebble and read the Aesop fables, but not like a subject in a school, but reading should become a part of your life. Everyone who's traveling anywhere must have a book in their bag because they love books. I want them to be cuckoos, going from one nest to another, but travel should be a joy. They should learn, they should explore. I want them to be parrot, mimicking, but great lives from Mahatma to Mandela, from Kalam to Kafka. I want them to be, I want them to enjoy, I want them to fly. You know, I was taking a class at the Golden Sparrow, grade 3, and talking about what else? Birds, and how the geese fly in V. So I asked the kids, do you know why these birds fly in a V? And there is this 8-year-old girl, nonchalant, raises her hand, doesn't wait for me to give her permission to answer, and she says, sir, because flying in W is difficult. Earlier I would have said, wrong answer. This time I smiled and appreciated. See friends, we all are living in invisible cages. Some built by the society, the more dangerous one built by the school, and the worst of all built by us, parents. You know why? Because we love our kids. And we want them to be safe. And safety, in our dictionary, looks like a great job, stable income, happy married life, an oxymoron. It looks like something with a title. But when did we confuse safety as being happy? I think we aren't getting the definitions right. I'm not saying medicine is wrong or engineering is wrong. I'm an engineer for all that we know. But I'm saying a child that wants to dance or doodle or be a part of a social circle or do something with empathy is a child who's also intelligent. She is just differently brilliant. We're just not recognizing these kids. The poet and the civil rights activist and the Grammy Award winner Maya Angelou wrote a memo. And she titled her memo so beautifully, "I know why the caged bird sings." And she answered, because it sings of freedom. Our children are singing. The question is, are we listening? Are we listening when there are no marks to be graded and no report cards to be given? There is a beautiful anecdote. The miners, when they would go to the mines, they would carry yellow canaries, birds of course. And then, if the canaries stopped singing, they knew something is wrong. When our children stop questioning, when they stop dreaming, when they stop asking or imagining, we think it's a discipline class. But silence is not success. Somewhere down the line, we have really changed the education system which wanted a child to be flying. I'll leave you with a beautiful proverbial story that I think is so beautiful. It summarizes what I want to tell you. We spoke about birds, right? So imagine if the birds were to make a school for themselves. I think the only classes would be flying, making a nest, or finding the worm. Remember early bird and the worm stories? But if we humans were to make a bird school, do you know what the first class would look like? Introduction to Flying 101. Followed by a 100-mark question paper, and only those who get 90% will be allowed to spread its wings. I think that's when pigs will fly. I think that's all I feel. Let's stop building better cages. Let's point to the sky, because we need golden sparrow, not golden cages, because education was never, ever meant to be caged. Thank you so much.